One of the biggest questions MBA candidates ask me is this: how specific should my career vision be? The answer to that question will be nuanced and will depend on whether you're talking about your short term goals or your long term goals. The expectations for the two will be different. This is a fundamental truth of MBA admissions, and the most successful candidates don't just understand it, they leverage it. So let's walk through it and make sure you're ready to put it into action. Let's start with short term goals. Your short term goal is the job you plan to get right after the MBA. This is where schools expect a high degree of both specificity and feasibility. You should be able to name an industry, a function, and ideally even example companies and potentially geographic locations. Many schools will directly ask you to provide that level of detail in your application. Why are specificity and feasibility so important in short term goals? Because schools are measured on how well they deliver on these outcomes. In the US News and World Report Business School ranking, the most influential ranking in the US, short term career outcomes account for half of a school's total score. That means AdComs are very focused on whether your short term goals are achievable. In order to admit you, they need to see strong evidence you can land that short term role you're aiming for. So, when you're presenting your short term goals, ensuring that you can demonstrate they're achievable is really important. That means your goals must align with both your pre MBA experience and the recruiting pipelines at the MBA programs you're targeting. For example, management consulting is open to candidates from a wide variety of backgrounds, but private equity, venture capital, and increasingly even product management requires specific pre MBA experience. If your background doesn't match those experiences, schools may view your short term goals as unrealistic, and that hurts your admissions chances. Now, let's turn to long term goals. Here, you have way more latitude. Schools expect you to be ambitious. They want to see a vision for the later impact you want to make. You don't need to name exact companies or job titles. What matters more is the direction, the bigger picture of how you hope to shape your industry, your community, or even society. That said, your long term goals should still connect back to your short term goals in a logical way. If your short term goal is healthcare consulting, for example, it makes sense if your long term goal is to lead strategy for a healthcare system or to found a startup that improves patient outcomes. The link between the two shows you've thought about how one steps prepares you for the next. So the balance is this: short term goals require specificity and feasibility, industry, role, geography aligned with your pre MBA background. Long term goals should be ambitious but logical, a vision that shows your drive without needing to lock into one precise role. When you're defining your career vision, remember the short term is about what you can realistically achieve right after the MBA, while the long term is about the longer impact you aspire to have. Schools want to see both the grounded plan and the inspiring vision. And if you want to learn exactly how to strike that balance in your own application, join me for my upcoming Career Vision workshop. I'll walk you through the same process my most successful candidates use to craft short term goals that are feasible and long term goals that are inspiring. The registration link is right below this video. Now, since you've made it this far, do me a quick favor, please. Hit the like button so other MBA hopefuls can find this video too. And don't forget to subscribe because next week we'll dive into what to do if you don't know your exact post MBA career goals yet and whether it's okay to keep more than one path on the table.